Stafford caught it somehow.
Cowboys OT is brought to you by GEICO. 85 years of savings and service. Sleep Number, the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, helps everyone from parents to pros improve their performance through quality sleep. Only at a Sleep Number store. And NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
In the city that never sleeps, apparently the Cowboys defense doesn't sleep as well. They forced 4 takeaways for the third straight game and the third straight win for the Dallas Cowboys. 21-6 over the New York Giants as they get another big NFC East win, and the Cowboys get their 10th win, up into double figures here in 2021. Welcome into Cowboys OT from the Star in Frisco. I'm Kyle Youmans alongside Barry Church, Nate Newton, Isaiah Stanback, and the postgame reaction from a 21-6 win for the Cowboys over the Giants. They've now won 9 of 10 from their foes across the division and up in the Northeast. And Barry, it starts with the defense, so of course we're going to start with you as the lone defender on the show. Another 4 takeaways forced today. First time since 1994 they've had a 3-game stretch where they've forced 4 straight turnovers.
This defense right now, they're hitting on all cylinders. I don't know what Dan Quinn got these guys doing over there, but they are flying around the football, and they're doing it both ways, whether it's punching the ball out, intercepting the pass, getting pressure on the quarterback. They are flustering the entire NFL when it comes to quarterbacks back there. They got horses. They got horses up front, and right now I'm excited about the potential that this defense can bring.
You know, just the way they play with enthusiasm, man. You see a lot of guys jumping around, flying around, like you say, the punch-outs, man. But I like how Neville Gallimore, on a certain plays, he stuffs that run, man. He does what he has to do. So I see he's growing each week and getting better and better.
I just like the fact that these guys are having fun, like Nate said. These guys want to play together. These guys want to make the next play. They don't want to be left out, right? Yeah. It's kind of like, everybody gets invited over to the house. Like, you don't want to be that one guy that's not invited over. You want to be at the party as well, and that's exactly how these guys are playing on defense.
You don't want to be that fringe friend. You want to be the guy that's in the action.
Right.
You want to have your hands all over it as much as the Cowboys defense have had their hands on opponents' footballs the last couple of days. And let's see how this one started as the Cowboys look for their third straight win over the New York Giants. They beat the Saints. They beat the Washington football team. Can they win their third straight? All of which on the road. After a punt on the opening drive, the defense wasted no time keeping their momentum alive. This one knocked up in the air by DeMarcus Lawrence. The pressure forces an interception. Jordan Lewis on the return takes it all the way down to the New York 13-yard line. That's the third interception of the year for Mr. Jordan Lewis. 2 plays later, Ezekiel Elliott on the draw, bounds his way through the middle of the Giants defense. And Isaiah, that's huge for the Cowboys to score on that opening drive.
Yeah, Zeke has been waiting to eat for a long time, and there they go, giving him the rock. The offensive line does a great job making a hole on the draw play. He gets in there for 6.
Finds his way to Pater. Next drive for New York, driving into the red zone. But Micah Parsons, he can do it all. He's back in coverage, and he forces a field goal attempt. Now, the Cowboys can't get anything going on offense as well. They go back down the field, and they kick another field goal. This one good from 26 yards out from Greg Zuerlein. Now on the ensuing drive after a Giants punt, the Giants up the middle. It's 2 rookies, Quincy Roche and Azeez Ojulari, forcing another Cowboys field goal. Then on the ensuing drive again from New York, Barry, DeMarcus Lawrence with his 16th career forced fumble. He was able to punch this ball out.
Oh, yeah, he did his best Peanut Tillman impression right there. Flawless technique, punching the ball out there. Recovery by Carlos Watkins. Great play for the defensive side of the football.
He is now up into 3rd in program history and organization history in terms of forced fumbles. D-Law doing something to Saquon Barkley that Barkley's not necessarily used to doing. He does not put the ball on the turf a lot. That was able to set up, even though Dallas ran out of time, a 27-yard Greg Zuerlein field goal to lead it at the half. Dallas up 15-3. Giants started the half with a field goal, but we skip ahead to the final minutes of the third quarter. Dak Prescott rolling out, and Isaiah, he was able to find Schultz for 6. Schultz had a fantastic day.
Yeah, Schultz did a heck of a job. He had 8 targets, 8 catches, and they did a great job protecting for him there.
First play of the fourth quarter, deep throw from Mike Glennon, and it's intercepted by Malik Hooker on the back end. That's the defense's 3rd takeaway of the game, and that was by chance the final pass that Mike Glennon threw. The offense couldn't take advantage, but later in the quarter, Dak Prescott, hit, the ball comes loose, and it's recovered by the Giants. Giants look like they're right back in it. Is this a repeat of last week? Are the New York Giants going to do what the Washington football team did? Not so fast. 2 plays later, Glennon downfield in the end zone. Trayvon Diggs with his 10th pick of the year.
Another great interception, and you do not try this guy on 50-50 balls. Like I said it before, 75-25% in order for Diggs to get that, man. He did a heck of a play, reaching up the highest point, interception, 10th of the year.
And I made a mistake. That was the last pass for Glennon, as it was Jake Fromm who came in for the final drive for the New York Giants. This one forced incomplete, and the Cowboys come out on top, securing a 21-6 victory. Only one score in the entire second half, and it was that Cowboys that Cowboys touchdown to Dalton Schultz. The Cowboys needed it, but that's all they needed, really, for the Cowboys offense to get the job done. Over 200 passing yards and 100 rushing yards as they come out on top by 15. And with that, they are right on the lip of the cup of a potential playoff berth and an NFC East title. They can wrap it up as soon as next week. When we come back here on Cowboys OT, we continue taking a deeper look at the Cowboys defense and seeing their success level continue to climb here in the latter half of the NFL season.
This segment is brought to you by Ashley HOMESTORE, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
It was the 11th multi-takeaway game for the Dallas defense here in this 2021 campaign. That's the most for the Cowboys organization since 1999. Welcome back into Cowboys OT. Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback. And Barry, let's take a deeper dive into what the Cowboys defense did well. This is not necessarily an offensive juggernaut in the New York Giants. They came in shorthanded on offense. They did not have Daniel Jones. They did not have Kadarius Toney. Mike Glennon didn't do themselves any favor, but the Cowboys were all over the place.
Yeah, the defense did exactly what they needed to. They stepped on their throats early on and often and didn't give the New York Giants confidence to think they can play in the same game with these guys. I mean, they didn't have a lot of sacks out there, but Mike Glennon was running for his life. As you see, 5 quarterback hits out there. There was tons of hurries by the whole defensive line. I loved how they got after him, and they made the secondary's job a lot easier because when the quarterback's flustered, he likes to throw up ducks, and we were able to go ahead and get those.
The front seven did an amazing job of creating pressure against this Giants offense, as well as the secondary doing a great job. Jay Lou was everywhere today. Diggs was out there as well, playing real tight coverage. And then we also had some showing up by Hooker. Hooker showed up and had some nice contested plays as well. So the secondary is showing up again. Everybody just wants to be a part of that party, and that's not just starting and ending with the defensive line. The secondary wants to play too.
I want to go off of what you just said there because we've mentioned the big three, the big four up front with Gregory and Gallimore and DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons with a bat down there to force a field goal. But it was the back end of the defense that really shined today. I thought Anthony Brown had a great game. You look at Jordan Lewis, and then you mentioned Malik Hooker.
It was competitive, and that's what you want, regardless if this offense has the time to throw the ball all day long or if they have to get the ball out quick. You want contested catches. And if these guys are going to make any kind of catches, you want them to have somebody in their hip pocket. You want them to earn it. I mean, that's exactly what we saw today. There was nobody that was running around free.
That's exactly what the secondary did. Like you saw out there, no matter what was happening, if they did catch the ball, the Cowboys was right there on their hip pocket, making everything contested out there, and you love that as a secondary. They're flying around the football. It looks like there's 15 players out there instead of 11. This secondary and this defense as a whole is flying around and playing great football.
They're playing at historically high levels, especially for the Cowboys organization. But when you've been a part of defenses like this, Barry, where everything seems to go right on all 3 levels, how much do you feed off of each other?
Oh, it's immensely like that. Like you guys said earlier, you don't want to be left out of the party. When you see all your boys out there getting plays, getting forced fumbles, getting interceptions, you don't want to be left out thinking I'm the only one not putting these stats up. So as you've seen out there, everybody was involved from all 3 levels, D-line, linebacker, secondary. Everybody was involved in a takeaway party today, and you love to see it for the Cowboys.
Isaiah, how many times did you, throughout the course of this game, really think that the Giants were going to get anything going because of how well the Cowboys defense was playing?
There was no point in this game where I felt like the Giants had any control of this game. I felt like offensively they did a good job running the ball. I think they did a great job of getting Barkley the ball in his hands, kind of spreading him all over the place. Actually, their backup running back did a great job too. So that's something that is still kind of a glaring spot that we have to address. I think they came out with the game plan that, hey, if we are going to have any success against the Cowboys defense, is going to be running the ball. So that's something we have to shore up going forward.
Booker with 8 carries, 74 yards, 31 of those on just 1 carry. Saquon Barkley, 15 carries for just 50 yards. So in the grand scheme of things, you kept each guy bottled up, but you mentioned there were chunk plays in there where you felt like the Cowboys defense had some lapses.
Yeah, and I felt like the Giants felt confident and comfortable running the ball. And that's kind of the area, the concern that I really have is that these guys had a level of comfort and coming at us that way. So that's something that we have to shore up. Obviously, we're doing a great job in pass rush and forcing quarterback pressures and interceptions and forced fumbles, but we have to stop teams from running the ball. As it gets colder outside, teams are going to start throwing less. As we get closer to the playoffs, teams are going to start trying to punch the ball right down your throat.
Yeah, those offensive linemen were able to get to that second level against our defense. And you saw a lot of the times Barkley or whether it was Booker, whoever was running the ball back there, they didn't get touched to the second level. So we got to shore up that on the inside a lot going forward because, like you said, teams, once the weather gets bad, teams aren't going to throw the ball. They're going to want to run it right down your throats. Cowboys got to assure that doesn't happen going forward.
And that was really the only effective side of the Giants offense. Mike Glennon, 13 of 24 passing, 99 yards. He had no touchdowns, 3 interceptions. That was a quarterback rating under 25. So not a great day from Glennon. Now, Jake Fromm was able to enter the ball game late, and he actually threw for 82 yards on 6 of 12 passing. So he looked better, but ultimately the secondary really shined today against the New York Giants. When we come back, Nate Newton joins the desk, and we talk about the offense looking better even after a win over the Giants, 21-16.
This segment was brought to you by Ashley HOMESTORE, the official furniture store of the Dallas Cowboys.
Welcome back to Cowboys OT after a 21-6 win over the New York Giants. Back with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. And guys, the offense over 200 yards passing, over 100 yards rushing. They got the ground game established in the first half. I'm sure we'll talk about that coming up in a couple moments. But as you take a look at the overall offensive stats, you really feel like this was a game where they didn't hit their ceiling, but they may have started to hit their stride a little bit. But how much do you have to take into account, Nate, the fact that it was against the Giants defense?
You want to say, okay, the Giants are not that good of a team, but they had Leonard Williams, they had Dexter Lawrence, they had a few other guys that could rush the passer and stop the run, and they had a pretty solid defense by my eyesight. But you know what? We did what we had to do, man. We got over 100 yards rushing. Our quarterback can seem to find some type of rhythm. We got to catch the ball a little bit better for him. We even got Sprinkle involved in the game.
Yeah, I think overall you have to look at it in comparison to what we're going up against, and then also what is our standard. You know, a lot of people are using, going and getting the stat lines and saying, okay, this is where we rank offensively in the league. But I think we have to have our own standard. I don't think we should be looking at what everybody else does. And by our standards, I think we were kind of like in a canoe when we should have been in a kayak. I think we needed more than one paddle in this instance. And I think that, we kind of fluttered a little bit. You saw flash. You saw Dak deliver the ball with confidence. He did a great job right here moving in the pocket, getting it over to Gallup. But then there was other instances where he delivered the ball and it was dropped, or he delivered the ball and the velocity dropped out, or the offensive line gave up too many pressures. I think he still got sacked, I believe, 4 times today. So that's still too much pressure on Dak, but a much better, much more improved on the running game with our two-headed monster back there.
I didn't know you were such an outdoorsman, talking about canoes and kayaks.
Seattle.
Oh, yeah, you are from Seattle, up in the great Northwest. But up in the great Northeast, I mean, this is a chance that you knew going into it for the Dallas offense that has pitter-pattered over the last couple of weeks to find a rhythm. They did so by finding the end zone twice. Now, they were both off of short fields. Are you still hungry to see a long, sustainable drive from this offense moving into the final 3 games?
Yes, I want to see the dynamic offense back, and I feel like we don't have that currently. I feel like our big play down the field, which is so intricate to this offense, isn't there. I'm not sure what's going on, why we can't get the ball to Coop down the field, but he's kind of been a little bit ghost. I mentioned in the pregame show, he's only had 2 games over 70 yards. And that's a problem for somebody that you're paying almost $1 million a game.
And then on top of that right there, you want to see your chunk plays, but we still have to get better in the red zone. We still have to get better in that short yardage situation so they can have that opportunity to do this. And it's like you said, it's just the smaller things, you just got to get in a faster rhythm for the game.
Yeah, the Cowboys 8 of 14 on 3rd down, so much more improved in that category over the course of the game, but they were still just 2 of 5 in the red zone, 1 of 4 in the first half. So they left plenty of points back up on the board. But Nate, when you look at this performance, and this is not one that you can really build off of offensively, but you can really go back and look and say, we're close. Do you think that this Cowboys offense can find their rhythm by the time that the Washington football team comes into town next week.
Definitely. I believe that because what you did today, what we did today was we got Dak some rhythm. That is my biggest key. We're gonna fix the offensive line by having just the same 5 guys in there, especially when Tyron get back. I think Zeke looked better today. I know Tony Pollard looked better today. Now we just have to make sure that our quarterback is confident and our receivers are catching the ball, and they will find that rhythm.
Well, being that it's Christmas week coming up, it's on my wish list. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely on my wish list, and I hope that we can keep this offense going. I hope that Dak can continue to improve upon his efficiency and his effectiveness within his mechanics, with his delivery. He did better today. Our running game did better today, but we need to continue to build momentum, especially if we're going against a Washington team that hopefully, well, actually, I don't want to say hopefully, but most likely is going to be a lot stronger up front than they were when we faced them last week.
That's a great point because they've been going through some COVID reserve issues over the last 2 weeks, and they may be more healthy for that game than they have been here in the last 2 or 3 weeks of action. Just a couple stat lines for you before we head to break. Dak Prescott, 28 of 37 passing, 217 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and he was just underneath a 100 quarterback rating. He had 98.6. Tony Pollard had 12 carries, 74 yards, and Ezekiel Elliott with 16 of 52. So were you satisfied, Isaiah, when you look at the numbers from the ground game, 125 on the ground? You satisfied with that, or do you want more?
Stats aside, I was satisfied that these guys were healthier. That's what I was happy about. I was happy that these guys look remotely healthy. They look like more of a resemblance of what we're used to seeing out of those two than we typically see.
Hey, maybe they are getting better. If they're passing the eye test, maybe that does find a way to get it done as well. But when we come back here on Cowboys OT, it's time to start hearing some post-game reaction. We hear from head coach Mike McCarthy live from out at MetLife Stadium when we return right after this. For the 9th time in Mike McCarthy's head coaching career, a team led by McCarthy has reached the double-figure plateau of wins. As the Cowboys get their 10th win of the season and improve to 10-4, they are very much so in place to potentially be locking up a playoff position today, and then also an NFC East title as soon as next week. But first, let's hear from the head coach himself out at MetLife Stadium.
Yeah, Mike, you said before not to talk to you about playoffs until you got to 10. You're at 10 now, and just how 3-0 in December, just how you feel you're playing at this point.
I mean, Rich told me I have to move it to 11 for next week. But, no, I think this is the time of year where things start to sort itself out. Obviously we took a big step towards, the 4th seed. And then, I've always believed December football, you just got to find ways to win. But you do want to improve. You want to gain the momentum. And, winning in this kind of weather is a great opportunity for us to gain, the confidence and as we move forward. So, we got Washington at home Sunday night, so that'll be the next one to get to 11. And we clearly understand what's in front of us.
You say you want to improve this time of the year as well. Where are you with that respect? Because obviously you win.
Well, we improved today. We continued. You start with the defense. We continue to take the football away. So, that was obviously it's a focus every week. But we felt like we'd be able to get some opportunities. Coming in there to stop the run, and with our rush and our ability to get after the quarterback and get our hands on the ball. So I thought our defense did a great job with that. We definitely needed to run the ball better today. I think we clearly accomplished that in the first half. We had some uphill sledding in the second half, more for the way they played us. So we'll continue to work at that when in the front and so forth is still tilted a little bit against you. So we just had the one giveaway there at the end, but. You can see just based on the decision I was making, we played the field position, played to the strength of the defense today. I thought Brian Anger had a huge day, pinning them back, and playing field position there. I thought we did a really nice job of that with the special teams.
You mentioned playing to the defense there. How much has that changed this season? At the beginning of the year, it was all offense, and it feels like halfway through the season, it's shifted where you're playing to the defense more.
Well, I think there's a little more variables to that, but yeah, definitely. I think it's really what I'm looking for too. You got to be able to win, from all three sides of this, especially in December and moving forward. So the opportunity to be able to complement one another, it was clearly coming out of last year. We talked about this in the offseason that we clearly needed to be a better complementary football team. And I think as you look at the course of our year and, just some of the trends that have gone on, I understand what you're saying compared to earlier in the year to this year. But the fact that we've been able to do that, I think will serve us well moving forward.
DeMarcus Lawrence seemed to show again today that there's more to edge defender production than just sacks. What did you make of his?
Yeah, definitely. I thought he was impactful. I mean, it's just, I think now he's back to a full-time, play load. And as far as his numbers, really hit that a little bit more last week. Coming in this week, just cut him loose. The fumble was a huge play, and obviously, someone that doesn't fumble very often too. So that was a big play in the game, and I thought he was impactful both in the run and the pass.
What's impressed you most being around him for a couple of years?
I love his energy. I love the way his physicality on game day. And I think just we've already talked about it. He plays the run and the pass, equally. He's not a pass rusher. He's not just a rush end. I mean, he's someone that plays. He plays it, same way all 4 quarters.
Is it okay? Pay attention to what you mentioned, the 4 seed. How much do you pay attention to seeds 1, 2, and 3, and what the other teams are doing now?
I mean, we all pay attention to it, but I just think it's a waste of time to really just, go back and forth on it. We're at 10 wins, and we clearly understand what 11 wins gives us, and, we understand what the records are in front of us. So, we'll continue. We'll watch it like everybody else, but at the end of the day, we just come off of a victory, against Washington and New York. So, and we got Washington up next. So we're expecting a game of, high energy, and we also have this huge challenge in front of us with the rest of our society with the pandemic. So, we're obviously focused on that, and trying to do all the little things we can to ensure give us the best opportunity come next Sunday.
Mike, what did you think of the atmosphere today with all the Cowboy fans?
Loved it. I mean, our fans are unbelievable. Just to travel every week. I mean, go back to last week in Washington too. It's the same way. When you see your defensive players going like this on a road game, that's special. I mean, that speaks volumes to our fan base, and and you could feel them, in pregame. So I just can't say enough about the energy that they bring. All the time, especially on the road.
You said you played to the defense.
There's Mike McCarthy talking about how even the fans of Cowboys Nation making an impact in these 3 straight road games. New Orleans, Washington, New York, all 3 ending up in a W. Back here with Barry Church and Isaiah Stanback. And now that you've had those 3 wins, they're all in the bag. You've got 10-4 as your record entering Week 16. It's got to feel nice not having that pressure of trying to get to the playoffs, and now you can kind of talk about it a little bit. So what is your thought process if you were this coaching staff going into the final 3 games?
Well, going into these final 3 games, we know the offense isn't exactly where we want it to be, especially if we want to make a long playoff run. So you definitely got to take one game at a time, stack one good series at a time, and make sure this offense gets where it needs to be. Defensively, keep that momentum going. I mean, these guys are flying around. We talked about it in the earlier segments. They are rolling defensively. And I'm with Mike McCarthy on this one. A win in December is a good win. Whether it's ugly, the offense can't move, defense giving up a lot of points, whatever the case may be, you got to win in December, and that counts.
Absolutely. I can't agree with you more. I think that the focus going forward through the rest of the season has to be confidence. Where can you get the confidence level of this offense? Where can you get the confidence level of every position group that participates and has a contribution to the offense, i.e. the offensive line? How do you continue to have confidence building with this defense? Continuity as Dan Quinn continues to change things up. Can guys feel comfortable in their particular positions? You saw D-Law make the change today going inside. He was successful with that. Can you see more of that? And then special teams, how can we have an impact, and how can we fix Greg Zuerlein and his inability to make extra points? Those type of things that people look over in wins, those are the things that kill you when playoffs show up.
Greg Zuerlein making 3 different field goals, but he did miss 2 extra points in the win over the New York Giants. 21-6 the final score. That defense, they shined again. 4 takeaways for the 3rd straight game. When we come back, we hear from DeMarcus Lawrence and how that defense continues to play complementary football right after this. Back here on Cowboys OT, Kyle Youmans here with you from the Star in Frisco after a Cowboys win over the New York Giants 21-6. And again, that front 7 shined bright in the New York lights, or I guess daytime. It was a 12 o'clock kick. And DeMarcus Lawrence was one of those, helped an interception on the back end as the Cowboys defense continues to play complementary football. Here's his thoughts after the win.
You talk about the defensive effort again as a team tonight, just what you've been able to do and build to in this month so far.
Yeah, it's a hell of a job by our guys. Showed up ready to play, got the turnovers that we need, and got the job done.
Mike said he played to the defense. He played the field position defensive game. You guys, Terry said last week, the defense is what's leading this team. How great is that for you guys been around here for so long, considered the weak link, and now you're the guy that they're playing to?
Yeah, it's amazing. Just to be on the team with a strong defense, it don't get no better than that. You know, just trying to beat the offense and, you know, touchdowns now.
Is this the best defense you played on in the NFL?
Yes, hands down.
Trayvon said this is the best defense in the league. Can you just reflect back to last year, how hard that was, and now that reality?
Yeah, you know, shout out to Trey with another interception today. But it's all about, you know, us getting back in the lab and keep working. We can't call ourselves the best unless we, you know, do what we have to do to win the championship. So don't just keep working.
He also talked about your leadership and how much on point with or on top of everybody that you're trying to be. Is that just a product of your experience and in the league and knowing opportunities don't come along very often?
Right.
It's maybe when you're saying maybe you're getting a little bit older.
Yeah, that too. But I mean, especially for this defense, when you have the type of athletes that we have on our side of the ball, you have to take advantage of your opportunities. So he's right. He's right. Got to stay on top of them because I know, you know, with 11, 94, 96, all those guys, you know, is rushing to the quarterback. Shoot, I got to find my young guy steps and get there faster. So, yeah.
When you weren't able to be on the field for much of the season, did you change your leadership style at all? I think Trayvon said last year you were a leader, but this year you're really, really a leader.
Right. I feel like when you have so much time to be on the sideline, you actually take a step back and look at everybody and see the type of things that they need to get better with or to learn from an experience standpoint. So that's what I did this year. I took a step back, you know, build my camaraderie with my guys, to know them one-on-one individually, and I feel like it's going good.
What was the atmosphere like today?
The atmosphere?
How would you describe what it was like on the road?
It's football, you know.
Fans, I mean, all the Cowboy fans in the stadium.
Yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys. When we winning, that's what's going to happen, you know. So shout out to the fans, man. Keep traveling with us everywhere we go. But it was a great atmosphere.
You mentioned the
D-Law knows how things work around those parts. When the Cowboys are doing well, they're going to get some extra fan support. Back here for Cowboys OT, and Barry, he said it, best defense he's ever played on. Now, you played with DeMarcus Lawrence, so he may be a little off in saying that. But what do you think about what you've seen from this defense and the way that they're peaking at the right moments?
Yeah, first of all, even though I did play with him on that 2014 squad, he's right. This is definitely the best defense I've seen him a part of. But this guy, he's saying all the right things. I mean, and these guys, they're led by DeMarcus Lawrence right now. And it started back on that New Orleans Saints game a couple weeks ago, I believe. He is just playing the run and the pass as good as I've ever seen a defensive end do it. I mean, usually you only get hyped up for getting, you know, sacks and quarterback hurries, but the way this guy is able to shore up that run game and punch the ball out, doing whatever it takes, this guy is a bona fide leader, and he's the catalyst of this defensive line.
You know, we wonder, you know, I mean, 10 weeks, I mean, he's not there. I mean, 9 weeks, he's not there. And all of a sudden he shows up, and you wonder what type of condition he would be in. Will he be ready to go? Well, from the Saints game on, he's ramped it all the way up. He's making plays. He's being the guy that we saw 3 or 4 years ago when he had those 14, 15, 16 sacks. He's back, and he's doing it, and he's calm with it. You know, when they asked him about what Diggs thought and what he said, he's like, hey, let's just chill. Tap the brakes, and we're going to get there.
Got to get there. You got to peak at the right time. Right now, the Cowboys defense, I mean, 4 takeaways in 3 straight games. Doesn't get much better than that. They continue to take the football away. That's a credit to Dan Quinn and a credit to that Cowboys front 7 for allowing the secondary to play so freely. When we come back here on Cowboys OT, let's hear from Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard as the Cowboys got the run game going again up in the Meadowlands. Cowboys had the run game going. Maybe it was the shifts on the offensive line. Maybe it was Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard looking as healthy as they've been in quite some time. Or maybe it was just Pollard getting back into the fold after missing last week with some plantar fasciitis. Now let's hear from Ezekiel Elliott out at MetLife Stadium after the Cowboys get a 21-6 win.
All right, tell us about how this game went in your terms. I mean, obviously you've been dealing with knee injury and stuff like that, but you felt like you guys were running the ball pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we were running the ball well today in the first half. We got that lead. I think just as an offense, we got to figure out a way to close that game out. And But I mean, defense definitely picked us up. They definitely gave us a push. You can't be mad about 4 turnovers again today. So I mean, happy for the win, but we got some work to do.
They're giving y'all a lot of Christmas presents, I guess, this time of year. It seems like they're just giving y'all the ball a lot. Is it becoming a defense that you got to get off the bench and check what these guys are doing?
I mean, these dudes are, when you talk about the rush, that D-line all across the board, they got dogs, and then, and linebacker the same way, and the back end is the same. So, they're getting after that quarterback good and taking the ball away. So,
walk us through that touchdown back in the first quarter. You kind of seemed like you slipped right through the garden center there and found the end zone.
Yeah, just a great call by Kellen. Just a play we put in this week, obviously. Draw play, and they were getting out of there into their zones like it was pass, and O-line did everything they needed to do.
It's good to have Tony back. You guys kind of had your 1-2 punch again.
No, yeah, it definitely felt good to have Tony back, and the dude's so explosive. He runs so hard, so elusive. So definitely felt good to have him back.
You getting more comfortable with the brace?
I think I am comfortable with the brace. I think I felt good last week with the brace. So it's definitely something I'll wear going forward until I feel like I don't really need it anymore.
You've been around long enough to know 3 road games in a row. To win 3 road games in 3 straight weeks, that's pretty a good accomplishment. Can you kind of speak to that?
Yeah, it's tough to go get a win on the road, especially in hostile territory, division game, and so it's definitely come out of that stretch 3-0. But we got 3 more left to finish off the season before we get ready for the playoffs. One more.
You said you got work to do. What do you think is the number one thing you got to do? Is it red zone? Is it just consistency running it, or?
I think definitely consistency running it and just finishing the game off. I think last week we had a chance to finish the game. We didn't do it. This week I think we had a chance to finish the game on offense, and we didn't get the job done. So I think that's our next step.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Thanks, Zeke.
All right, have a good one.
How you feeling? You said the other day that it's not the easiest thing to play through. How do the feet feeling right now?
Right now I'm feeling pretty good. But game day you get adrenaline going. You got to get eyes in your head, talking to you, boosting you up. So it's kind of easy to get going on game day. You're just dealing with it week in, week out.
How did it feel just to get back out there with Zeke? You guys working together. He felt like he was running pretty well. You guys kind of back to that 2-headed monster again.
It's big. It's hard being on the side watching, and not being able to play. So just being back out there with the guys and being able to play, just being out there able to participate, it was big.
Did you feel like you're going to have to do anything differently here coming up, managing it differently, maybe sitting some practices out? Or?
Probably just load management like throughout the week at practice, but as far as game day, I think I should be pretty good from here on out.
So how do you keep your mental reps in there? Do you stay out there and watch practice?
Just working with our trainers. We got great trainers here in Dallas. Britt Brown, he does a great job with us, getting us ready, guys rehabbing. And, once I'm done with working with him, just getting out there at practice and just watching, just being out there. If I'm not getting the reps physically, just mentally.
How did it feel to see on 45 on the other side over there, Jalen Smith?
It was crazy. He tackled me a couple times, and, I could tell every time because he's a hard hitter.
Yeah.
So, every time that he tackled, so I definitely knew when it was him.
You're happy for him to kind of get back on his feet and get a spot?
It's always good for him, just getting back on his feet, getting with another organization, just giving it another try.
Awesome. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you, Tony.
It definitely was interesting seeing Jalen Smith on the opposite sideline for the New York Giants. He was picked up earlier in the week on the practice squad, then elevated and actually played a significant amount of snaps. Now, back to the run game for the Dallas Cowboys. It wasn't explosive. It wasn't dominating, but it was sustainable. And I think that's the biggest thing that, Isaiah, we've been looking for. Now, what contributed to the fact that it was sustainable? Was it Pollard being back in the fold, the health of Zeke, or even the shifts on the offensive line?
I think it was a combination of everything. I think today it was a lot more obvious that there were some holes up front. The offensive line actually got some movement. They were able to push the defensive line back 1-2 yards deep and into their own territory. And then you saw offensive linemen working up to the next level. We had some guys getting out and pulling, which is what Connor Williams does really good at. So we had some movement there. And then obviously the change of pace with Tony Pollard, that is so instrumental to this offense and their ability to run the ball on the ground. Because Zeke, you kind of get used to his tempo, and then guys kind of take off when you have Pollard.
I like that, man. Coach Callum Moore, he did a nice job and scheming and knowing that Zeke was in the game, keeping it right up between the tackles, and then with Pollard coming out, getting guys out, like you said, pulling and doing what they need to do. That's a great mix and match of how Coach Kellermoore called the game today.
Connor Williams was the starter at the left guard spot. Maybe that played a factor, but really just in terms of the eye test, you mentioned it earlier in the show, Ezekiel Elliott looked as healthy as he's been in weeks. He was able to cut. He was able to make moves. Tony Pollard being back gives that changeup for that Cowboys offense. But when we come back, let's talk more Cowboys offense. How about the passing game? How did it look in the win over the Giants? After just one touchdown on offense in their last 19 possessions entering into Sunday's matchup with the Giants, the Cowboys were happy to find the end zone twice in the win over New York, a 21-6 win. And one of those touchdowns belonged to Dalton Schultz, who had a big day as a pass catcher. Here's his thoughts after the win.
All right. Well, how did it feel? You guys, 3 road games in a row now. You come in here. Hold on just a second. Sorry. Yeah. That was not going to work. Sorry about that. Edit that out? Yeah, might as well just start. Okay. You guys get 3 straight road games now. This was kind of the clincher, last one on a division game. I mean, what does it take for a team like this to do that, stay locked in, and get a win like that?
It's just a week-to-week process, man. The NFL is the biggest week-to-week business. I think you're only as good as what you put on film the last week, and I think we've just done a great job of taking it day by day and trying to get better week to week.
It's one of those pick your poison type offenses, and for this game you were just there a lot. It seemed like you were kind of camping out right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I mean, these guys play a bunch of soft zone, and we knew that. Obviously, we're going to have a bunch of shell coverage if teams want to play zone against us with the guys we have on the outside, and just getting to the spots, being in the right place for Dak. I mean, the underneath stuff can always open up when you have threats and weapons on the edge like we do. So,
you guys still had a little bit of red zone issues. Do you feel like, I mean, Zeke said there's a lot of work to do. Do you think, would you put your finger on it, that would be the biggest thing?
Absolutely. That's something that we've been kind of harping on the last few weeks, and especially probably post-bye. And so I do think we have a lot of work to do in the red zone. And I mean, it's just simple execution things. And I mean, it's not like we have to reinvent who we are in the red zone. It's just we got to go out there and just play better. So I mean, again, that's a week-to-week thing, and we'll do our best to get ready for that next week.
I'm just the messenger here, but McGovern says it was because of his athletic ability that everyone just had to go and leave you and try to make sure to get him. I mean,
well, we knew that the teams that play, we could just call it zero ultra, the 2 edge guys peeling. Sometimes those drag routes, crossing routes get eaten up by those guys when they do decide to drop them. And I mean, I was hoping that Connor was gonna sneak through on that one, but it wasn't in the cards. I mean, I was just in the right spot at the right time. So.
Appreciate it. Thanks. Dalton, sorry. Thank you. Sorry.
8 receptions and 67 yards, a touchdown for Dalton Schultz. Back here with Nate Newton and Isaiah Stanback. And Nate, I'll start with you on this one. It looked a lot more, let's say, fluid in the first half for Dak Prescott in the passing game, but still a lot left on the table. This time it really seemed like it was the wide receivers that didn't have a rhythm.
Yeah, they dropped a few today. Mainly my man CeeDee Lamb. He needs to pick up his game because if you want to get things going, your tight end and your slot receiver is the guy that you depend on. But you know what? I got somebody that's going to speak on that. Isaiah, what you think?
I think that they have to continue to try to find ways to get their playmakers the ball. And we saw Dak do a better job of being confident in his ability to move in the pocket, deliver a nice ball. But, to your point, CD dropped some balls. It wasn't just CD's fault. But, with this red zone has to improve. I think we're 24th in the league right now in the red zone. And, again, that just isn't going to work. That's not Dallas Cowboys football. And I think our ground game, as that improves, that'll help us substantially in that scheme as well.
3 drops for CeeDee Lamb. None of those were really in the red zone. But let's talk about the red zone. 2 of 5. They were 1 of 6 last week. They've been 4 of 14 over the last 4 weeks. So where does that start? How do you fix the problems in the red zone, Nate?
Take care of the small details. When you have a threat of running and you can run the ball, then all of that opens up. It's a small space, but if you can make sure you get something on your man, we got 2 backs that can make it happen. They can give you that inch or 2 to the right or the left, but you have to get something on your man, get into the end zone, then everything start opening up for your big targets like Schultz and CeeDee Lamb, and I wanted to see a little bit more Amari Cooper in that red zone.
Yeah, I want to see Coop as well, but I think everything goes back to the run game. If you can't run the ball, then guys can sit back and they can look and see exactly what you're doing. The run game allows for you not only to be able to move the ball down there, but also play action. Majority of teams' touchdowns in that area of the field come off of play action.
When we come back here on Cowboys OT, we'll hear about the defensive side of the football a little more. Micah Parsons hits the podium, and we wrap things up here after a 21-6 win over the Giants.
Cowboys OT was brought to you by GEICO, 85 years of savings and service. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl.
The sack streak does not continue for Micah Parsons, but the winning streak does for the Dallas Cowboys. They get their third straight win. Let's hear from the rookie after the 21-6 win over the Giants.
Talk about just coming in here and defense, keeping them out of the end zone, getting a lot of sacks, turnovers. This is kind of what you guys are coming to.
I believe this is how we built our identity. We pride ourselves on playing hard-nosed football, out-hitting other team. Like I said before, it's a better game. We make sure they'll score 0. And, you know, we held them out, and I thought we did a great job today.
I think Dan Quinn said earlier this week that you'd called him and said, hey, what's next this week? Texted him, or what's next? And did you find yourself doing anything different in this game? I mean, I felt like you were kind of doing a lot of linebacker stuff. But
I was doing a lot more linebacker stuff this game, a lot more coverage, things like that. But, you know, this all comes with it, patience, waiting for your turn. That was going to create more opportunities.
You, I don't know if they gave you half a sack. I don't know if they did, but I think the streak ended. Disappointed at all, or?
I mean, they come and go. You know, I mean, just like anything. But I guess it's a beautiful thing about life. I got next week to start a new streak, and you know that's another 6 weeks I'm looking forward to. So I'm excited for it.
What's it like to be lining up at the cornerback spot? You got Saquon Barkley, who you know pretty well, out there as well. What's that? You know, you do all these other things. But sometimes they got you doing some cornerback stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I do. I told myself there can't be nobody like me, and the fact that I can do those type of things, that sometimes your impact isn't got to be made in the backfield. Sometimes it's made somewhere else, and I think that's where my impact was made today.
I know you answered it earlier this week, but obviously just playing here in New York and all the LT stuff, did you hear anybody else talking about it today, or did you feel any different kind of way?
I didn't feel any different kind of way. I mean, he's a great dude, great player. But, you know, I got to do my own thing. You know, I mean, I got to build my own destiny.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
And at least throughout his rookie season, Micah Parsons' thing is giving nightmares to opposing offenses. And he did that again today with a big pass breakup that ended a drive and forced a field goal. But as we look ahead to the final 3 games of the year, Philadelphia is the final one. You've got Arizona in Week 17. But next week, you go right back up against the Washington football team for the second time in 3 weeks. What do you think this Cowboys team needs to work on most entering this week of preparation?
Defensively, I need this Cowboys team to just shore up the run game just a little bit. I mean, they did an all right job today, but Booker and Saquon Barkley, they were able to put a dent into this Dallas defense. So I need them to shore up the run game a little bit. And offensively, like I stated earlier, just keep stacking them on top of each other. Good games, good series on top of each other. You'll get that production back that you need to make a long run in the playoffs. But overall defense, you got to shore up that run game because I don't want to get exposed when we get to the playoffs.
Nobody wants to be exposed, all right? So we definitely need to shore up our offensive line. I think that they did a better job in terms of the run game today, but the passing game, there's still too much pressure on Dak. As, again, Nate said earlier in the show, we need to continue to build his confidence. He did. He took a step forward, took a stride forward today in terms of building that confidence. But if we're going to have any chance of having him be back there and deliver the ball, hopefully getting back to over 300 yards per game on average, we need to be able to shore this up against Allen, Payne, Sweat that we're going to see coming up this week.
How much do you think there's going to be an emphasis on finding that rhythm again up against this Washington defense who gave them trouble a week ago?
I hope Dan Quinn throws everything at this offense this week. So to get those guys as confident as possible, I think we can most likely intend on seeing a bunch of stunts up front.
So a very let's say, I would say just very intense week of practice for Dan Quinn going up against that Cowboys offense because things are going to be tough. Washington's going to throw those looks at Dak Prescott, and it's going to make things interesting. The defense again shines against New York. They force 4 takeaways, and the Cowboys get a big-time win on the road. 3 straight road wins. They return back to AT&T Stadium next week, and then it's 2 out of the last 3 at home, 2 out of the last 3 against the NFC East, the chance to clinch the division in Week 16. That does it for us us here on Cowboys OT. For Nate Newton, Barry Church, Isaiah Stanback, I'm Kyle Youmans. Thanks for joining us. Cowboys win it 21-6.